Hi, my name is Brian. I received a kidney donation from my sister over 18 years ago. What's really important in my life right now is being able to spend quality time with my family. I have two boys, they're 20 and 22. And when I had my kidney 18 years ago, before I had that kidney, even before I went on dialysis, it was very hard to get off the couch. I was tired all the time, had no energy. Then after the transplant, all my energy came back. And my kids were in band in high school. And as they were growing up in middle school too, I was able to enjoy all their activities and be able to go to all their activities, especially with dialysis and band activities. They do a lot of those on Saturday. I would have had to spend my Saturdays doing dialysis and missing a lot of their activities. So that's one of the biggest things for me over the last 18 years is being able to spend all the quality time with my family and my both my boys. My experience talking about living donation with my family and friends was I was very young at the time that I needed my transplant. I think I was 38 years old. And working with my doctors, I knew uh, finding a donor, a living donor, I'd have a better chance of that kidney lasting much longer than having a cadaver donor. I have a large family, luckily, and as I said, I was able to get my sister to donate for me, which was great. Also, it helped minimize my time while on dialysis. So I decided to find a living donor because of those reasons. To minimize my time on dialysis. And I knew, being only 38 years old at the time of my donation, that I'd have a much better shot of it lasting a much longer time. So when my sister first said they would think about donating a kidney, I felt relieved knowing that I have a chance of getting a kidney much sooner and to restart my life, really. I look at getting that kidney as another birthday. Um, I have a big family, and my sister stepped up. It's funny because her and I are very much alike. There's eight of us, eight siblings in the family, and her and I are more like each other than anyone else in the family. So with her stepping up, that didn't surprise me. But I was very, very grateful, and to be honest, I was worried too about her. Um, but I can tell you, after she donated the kidney to me, she actually started running marathons about 10 months later. Not because she got lighter, because she lost the kidney. Her son was in school and went to school full time, and she's just started running. And she's run about 15, 20 marathons since the kidney. She donated the kidney to me and actually ran and collected money for the kidney fund in my name, running one of the marathons. So before getting my transplant, I thought, um, what am I getting myself into? I went over and was doing my testing for the transplant, and I met other people that were going through that same testing as I was, and or already had a kidney, and they were just doing some follow up checkups, and it kind of got me very nervous. Um, a lot of them talked about um, all the complications that they had, and they were in in and out of hospitals. But what I learned when I went and saw my doctor my next visit, I expressed these concerns to him. And what he told me was they weren't in the hospital because of their donation. They were in the hospital because what led to their kidney failure in the first place, either diabetes or some other disease. And with the disease I had, he's expected me to be fine and not have any problems. And he's right. I've only haven't been in the hospital since my transplant for anything related to my kidney. It's been such a blessing. The most challenging part of my transplant journey was when I experienced a rapid decline. Actually, there's two. I experienced a rapid decline of my kidney function kind of caught my doctors off guard. It was back in 2005. A hurricane hit, and I was still working, luckily. And I was working a lot of hours, trying to work a lot of hours, and my family was displaced in Houston, and I drive back all the time. But my creatinine level went from like 22% below 10%. And I had to rush to get on dialysis. So that was, and I had to rush to finish all my testing. The other complication was my sister that donated to me. She lived in California. So she had to do a lot of her testing over there, but she still, for final review, had to fly over here into the Houston area to finish up the testing and go through the final discussion before we did our kidney donation. So I think I started dialysis sometime in December. She finished up her testing in late January, and we did the transplant in early February. So after getting my transplant, the difference in my physical ability and emotional stability was astronomical. Before my transplant, I could sleep 12 hours in a night and get up, sit on the couch, and fall back asleep. After my transplant, I was waking up. I'll never forget the day after my transplant. I don't remember much of the day of my transplant. It was on a Friday, but I remember waking up Saturday morning at 6 a.m. thinking, I'm going to be tired all day. And I was awake all day. It was the strangest feeling, being so wide awake and alert compared to prior to the transplant. So after we got home, I was in the hospital. Friday was our surgery. I was home by Tuesday. Tuesday afternoon, my sister and I went for an hour and a half walk around the neighborhood. That's how good I felt. I was actually felt better than she did. She was still recovering from pulling the kidney out of her, while I was feeling better than I had felt in years. What I was able to start after I recovered, I was able to start going back to the gym and getting into more physical activity that I had to give up because I just didn't have the energy and the strength to do any of that prior to dialysis. Emotional wise, it gave me a different, I've always been a very calm, casual, happy-go-lucky guy, and none of that changed, but it did give me a different perspective of how precious life can be and how delicate it can be. It only takes one thing to really turn your life around or make it go down. So getting that kidney was like the one of the biggest gifts. And I think I said it earlier in answer, it's like another birthday for me because my life changed so much on that day. As I said, as a life without dialysis, man, I was able to unchain myself and being able to go to all my kids' activities. My kids were in band through high school, middle school and high school. And in high school, I mean, my wife and I were very involved with the band boosters. We went to every football game to watch the band. We went to every band competition. We volunteered for all the band fundraising activities. And it really, to me, it brought me closer to my boys because we were there with them and we got to enjoy them. They made it to states for marching band multiple years, and we were there with them, and they would run up and hug us that they were so excited to make state. And I was able to enjoy that, not being tied to dialysis, because with dialysis, I would have missed a lot of those activities. The most notable difference in me is just my energy level. So as I said, after the transplant, it was funny. My wife was laughing at me because we were just talking about this a couple of weeks ago. After that transplant, at 6 a.m, I was waking up at 6 a.m. all the time. I could only sleep like 5 hours a day because I had so much energy, and I started cleaning the house at 6 in the morning. She really enjoyed that. Luckily, that feeling of trying to clean the house went away, but she was asking for that to come back. But it's been such a blessing. Um, and I've been really blessed with the transplant. So, what I learned from this entire journey was, even though it's terrifying to think of going into surgery, going underneath, and then putting someone else's body part in you, it is well worth it. Your life will change for the so much better versus staying on dialysis. Uh, I can't express what a change in my life it's been. My advice to others who need a kidney is don't give up hope. Try to find a living donor if you can. And see if you can find someone else that had a kidney. So when I was getting my kidney transplant, a friend of mine called me, that a colleague that I worked with. He was in our business center where I was at the plant. He was going through the same journey with me. He just found out he was in kidney renal function failure. And I kind of walked him through the process as best as I could. He was like 4 months behind me on the transplant. So after I got my transplant, he actually got a cadaver kidney. From what I hear, he's still doing really well. He's retired now. But I walked him through the process. As I got my kidney, he'd call and ask a lot of questions. And if you got questions, don't be afraid to ask. Again, try to find someone that's already got a kidney and really talk to them about their process and what they went through. So you can get a lot of great information from someone else that's gone through that journey before. So what would I like to say to my donor? So luckily it was my sister, and I've been able to talk to her about it all the time. I actually call her on my new birthday. Just what a great gift that she gave me is what I tell her, and I could never repay her for what she's done for me and my family. The other thing that her and I have talked about was my trepidation of her giving the kidney, because I worried about her. And as I said, she's doing great. She hasn't had any health problems. And again, she started running marathons. She's probably run 20, 25 of them, run the Boston Marathon, New York Marathon. I wish I got some of that from her kidney. That's one of the jokes we had, is I'd get her her running habit because she gave me part of her kid. She gave me her kidney. That never happened, but she has seen the change it has made in my life, and I think that has been a big reward for her, and me seeing how well she's done since the kidney transplant. Her giving that kidney to me and her not having any ill effects really gave me a peace of mind, knowing that she's doing great.